Welcome to Open 2.0. I'm your host, Adonys Jimenez. A.S.T.E.P, also known as Artists Striving to End Poverty, is an incredible program created by a Broadway director and Juilliard students. This program works to transform the lives of our everyday youth through all forms of art. They have recently opened a new after-school program in the Bronx. Without further ado, we welcome Director of Domestic Programs, Mauricio Salgado. Pleasure to meet you, sir.
It's my pleasure, Adonys.
So tell us a little bit about A.S.T.E.P.
I'll tell you a bit about how I came to it. You mentioned very well that Mary Mitchell Campbell started the organization back in 2006. I was one of those Juilliard students. Back in 2001 was when I started school out there. And my first day of class was September 11th of 2001.
Wow.
Being an 18-year-old coming from Miami, that kind of rocked my world. And I immediately thought about giving up and quitting school, you know, trying to figure out how I could give back or get involved, because there was a rift. There was a wall, this difference between us and them that we thought was creating a divide. But at school, my girlfriend at the time, now wife, put the question, what can you do with this skill set that you have, that you're developing here at this school, in order to make a difference?
Right.
So we spent our 4 years at school exploring how art has power, how art can transform, and how art can heal. And along the way, we met Mary Mitchell, who was a teacher of mine. Wow. Our student group, which had started working with a summer camp down in South Florida, needed funding. Mary Mitchell funded that project. And when we went to graduate and thought about starting our own organization, Mary Mitchell said, hey, you know what? I'm starting this thing called A.S.T.E.P. Why don't you come and join me, and we can make this thing happen together?
Well, that's really, really interesting. So how do you believe this program helps students like progress? Or how have you seen art, you know, change the lives of these everyday youth?
Yeah, you know, the title of our organization is Artists Striving to End Poverty. And I want to talk a little bit about poverty and ultimately what I think is the reason why we aim to foster creativity and awaken imagination. That's what we think it's about. So poverty is more than just the lack of resource. It's more than being economically poor. It's more than not having a nice home or not having adequate material or access to resource or education. Poverty is about not having the choice. Not having the choice for education. Not being able to have access to food. Not being able to choose that career or that hope or that dream, whatever it may be you're aspiring towards. And that choice is what we are hoping to reestablish or reconnect for our students. Because choice is a practice. It's a muscle. A lot of our students, including myself, have experienced moments in time when I feel like I don't have, the choice has been taken away from me. You know what, I'm not good enough. You know what, this has been taken away from me and I'll never have access to it again. And so at that point, I stifle myself. I stop believing that I will be able to accomplish that, right? That's when that muscle, that choice muscle, has atrophied. And we believe it is the choice and it is the skill to recognize choices, different perspectives, what is possible, that the arts helps engender, cultivate in young people who feel like they don't have a lot of choices. And we think that the arts can help them reawaken their imagination and say, you know what, maybe there is more out there than what I think.
Than what you see in the moment.
That's right.
That's very interesting. And is there, like, what students have you seen, like, actual, can you pinpoint an actual progress that they have made? Like, what arts do you actually guys focus on?
Yeah, we do all of the arts. I myself am an actor. My wife's a dancer. We have musicians and visual artists and photographers and filmmakers. Right. I'll tell you a story about a project we just did, which is called The Journey to College. Okay? The Journey to College was a play that was written by 3 of our students and 1 of our faculty members down in South Florida, where we work with migrant farm working youth. Okay? And so this play is about the challenges they face in aspiring to go to college. We had a high schooler who their parent didn't want them to go to the college that they wanted to go to because the parent wanted them to stay home
Is this part of the play?
This is part of the
Oh,
play.
okay,
This
okay.
is the story
I'm
of the
sorry.
play. But you know what? That's right. It is also the truth of these students who were telling the story.
Of
right?
course.
We had a middle
Absolutely.
schooler who the teachers in the school didn't believe that the kid had a lot of opportunity. And then we had a college student who had recently had a baby and was struggling getting support from the school, financial support from the school, because she had missed some classes and was going to lose some of her financial aid. So all of these students are facing these challenges, right? And they feel like their dream for college, their dream fading away, right? And so this play was an exploration of that, where they wrote the story and then we presented it to audiences. We took some time to facilitate some skill building so that way they can tell it in a more poetic fashion, in a way that would engage the audience. And then when they performed it for the audience, having feedback session, right? And immediately seeing how these students, given the feedback, given their own experience watching other actors tell their story, were able to see, you know what, I'm not alone. There are other people struggling with this. And if I'm not alone, then maybe there's another way to it. Maybe somebody else has figured out how I can get to my dream if this one particular way is the way to go about it. And at the same time, audience members who were encouraging them, keep going, don't worry about it. You know what, maybe we'll give you financial help. You know what, maybe if you can't stay with your parents because they don't support you, you can come stay with me. So it is that moment after the sharing of the story where the audience is engaged that the transformation begins to happen.
Yeah, I think a big part of, just doing what you love and just chasing your dreams, going after what you want. And I think the support from the teachers and just staff members, a part of, everyday programs like this that help out students. That's a really big part to, how students actually perceive the information that they're obtaining, how they can actually themselves get involved, and as you mentioned, how they can actually get across this barrier that these teachers or their family don't set up. They think that there's a barrier there, and they think that they're only in this place where they can go, and it's like there's way much more than that to explore the world. There's more than these four corners.
And we've seen it. We've seen it in South Africa.
Right.
We've seen students who we do an exploration around barriers.
I was just gonna ask you that. Are there any plans for expansion, or have you guys actually expanded?
We work here in New York.
That's cool.
We work in South Florida with migrant farm workers. We work in South Africa with several different organizations. We work in India. We work in Ecuador, in Burkina Faso. And we're hoping to start working a lot more domestically as well.
That's very inspirational. How can anybody, these kids at home that are watching the show, and they're very interesting, because I know they are, how can they get involved? Is there a website? Is there, do you guys have Twitter, Facebook? Is there?
There is a website. It's asteponline.org. And we have a Facebook page, Artists Striving to End Poverty. You can look that up and catch us there.
Right.
I would say, most importantly, we have volunteer opportunities. That's how we work, right? Our executive director, Mary Mitchell, likens it to an artist's Peace Corps, okay? Where we want to connect artists like yourself
Thank you.
with young people who are hungry for this, right? And we want to connect you across the world. So maybe your connection is here in your own community, working with this after-school program that we work with in the Bronx, or maybe it is doing a street show in South Africa, or maybe it's teaching dance in India to our students out there. So depending on your art form, there's a volunteer opportunity for you.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, sir. It was a pleasure meeting you. You guys heard it here first. For more information, visit ASTEP.org.
Online.
Well, thank you very much. Stay tuned for more Open 2.0 coming your way.